Hi there, welcome to this class on Adobe Photoshop. My name is Harshit and I am an instructor for this class. In this class, we are learning various concepts, tools, and techniques used in photo editing and creating digital graphics. Here, you will learning to create a custom brush, a travel postcard, 3D spherical panorama, thermal photography, duotone with gradient map, and much more. You will also learn to efficiently use various tools for selection, removal, replacement, such as polygon, magnetic lasso, magic wand, quick selection, refine edge, clone stamp, patch tool, and more. Moreover, you will also learn various adjustment layers used to control hue, saturation, exposure, contrast, channel mixer, blending modes, neon light effect, and other things. So, if you are curious to learn these skills in Photoshop, start learning right now. See you in the class. Hey, welcome back, friend. Here in this lesson, you're going to learn about various lasso tools for making a selection in Photoshop. So, let's start. So, generally, we got three lasso tools in Photoshop. There's the basic lasso tool, a polygonal, and a magnetic lasso. And here we are going to learn about all these three one by one. So, when you go to the tools option on the left hand side, the top option just below the selection area selection tool, you got three lasso tools. You can hold left click for a long time to make a selection of these things. So first learn the lasso tool. So lasso tool is a simple tool where you can draw over the screen over the photo to make a selection. Okay, so you need not to hold or click. You just need to hold the left click, left mouse key, and hover around the selected area. If you have a drawing tablet, that's awesome for this tool because it requires a gradual control or a hold over the image. um, but sometimes it could be difficult. So lasso tool is just a primitive tool and it can easily select. If you're a good artist and you have a command over the selection using the drawing tablet pen, then this tool is very good and come handy for you because you can do so. But if you're using mouse, I won't recommend using the basic lasso tool. So you can know why, because if you're making a selection, it would be difficult. Sometimes things could be overlapped, something could be remained out, left out, and it would be difficult to handle. But you can zoom into the image closer to your subject and you can easily turn around with this thing. And you can copy the selected subject to different image in Photoshop, or you can create a composition from scratch. You can also duplicate the same selected area in the same image multiple times. Next is the poly Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about very interesting selection tool in Photoshop. That's a quick selection tool. So quick selection tool is just like a paintbrush, and you can select your subject or object from the photo very easily and very quickly. So let's learn about the selection tool here. So you can find the selection tool just above the eyedropper tool, and this is the quick selection. So you just need your mouse, or if you have a drawing tablet you can use a drawing tablet to make a selection. You have to just paint around the object that you want to have, say, and you can increase the area over time. You can change the size of the brush with the control, and you can also control the hardness and other options. So you just need to move it around the subject. Here we have a straight dog and we have to select it to make a selection. As subjects like a dog or humans have a lot of hairs, and we would require refine as tool that we will be doing later after we have made the selection. So we just need to move around this brush, selecting an entire area. Don't worry if unwanted areas have been selected, we can remove it very easily. So you just need to press the alt key and just paint over the area that you want to cancel out. So it's better to zoom into the photo to get a fine selection, and this is how. So we have selected both the legs and ground in between, and we can remove the leaves and other unwanted components from our mask. So here we are selecting. So just press the alt, hold the alt key on the keyboard, and just paint around using the selection brush. Quick selection is the fastest way to select any subject. Although you can use a magic wand, you can use the lasso tools and other selection option as well. But I prefer using the quick selection tool when I'm in a hurry. Okay, and it selects the subject very well. It's widely used to make a selection. So here it is. We have just move around the photo, and here we have selected the dog, the face, the body, the legs, and now it's time to select the tail and remove few section near the ears that we want to remove. Just hold the alt and move around. It's better to use the smaller brush size when you are canceling or removing some components from the selection. Okay, because it will allow you to have the edges and the curves intact. Otherwise, if you take a bigger size selection brush, it will remove a bigger area, and it's not desirable in this scenario. So here just make a selection, and here's a quick tip that say your tail is with a medium size of the brush, but you have to take the size of the brush is smaller than the area to be selected. Okay, don't take it to the equal size, don't take a long size, just take it right small, a little bit smaller than the area to be covered, and remove unwanted sections whenever you want. Just try to make this selection and try to save it or create a mask of the photo, and if anything goes wrong, just press undo, Control Z, and start again. So here it is. We have selected, and we will create a mask here. Just move to this create a mask option, and here we have isolated. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about refine as tool in Photoshop. So let's start. So you can make a selection of your object from a photo using any of the selection tool, quick selection, magnetic lasso, the rectangle tool, or different tool. And there could be some surfaces like hairs on animals, humans, or different objects. Then you need to refine the selection. So you just select the mask, right click, and choose the option for selected mask. Or alternatively, you can go to the select menu just next to the filter and the layer panel, and just select same option, the selected mask. And here we are using the refine edge tool, and we can change the size, the hardness, and the spacing of this tool, and one by one just select the surfaces that need to be refined. Like here we have the ears of this dog that has a hairy composition, and we have to select this thing. Just you need to just paint around the boundary. Okay, you already made a selection, and you just need to refine a few surfaces and few components there. uh, when you zoom out and view it as a large image, it may look like a blurry, but once you have isolated it in the set in the background, it will disappear and will look very cool. If you don't use any refine edge tool for masking hairs, your image would not look natural. In order to have a natural look where the surface of image are embedded in the background, or each individual hairs are finely selected, you need to refine your selection as well. So just paint around the boundaries of your subject, slowly one by one. Sometimes if your shape is complex, it may take time, but it will generate a good image and it will have a natural edit around the thing. So when you have a fairy or fluffy object with a lot of hairs or surfaces coming out, you can use this refine edge. Zoom into the subjects, the areas that you need to refine perfectly well, like legs, the nails, tail, and different surfaces. As animals like dog have a lot of hairs in its entire body, we need to make it a clear selection. But if you have subjects like human face, you don't need to use a refine edge over the entire face. You just need to have it over the hairs, the beard, and different things. So here we just need to make the selection. You can also use a minus or the plus option for the refine edge, and you got more options here. You can also control the transparency and different controls that are provided here using the slider options, but they are generally not required here. And hit the OK to make a selection. And let's zoom out to confirm that we have made a clear selection. So this final selection is a little bit different than the earlier one because it doesn't have the sharp boundaries. It has a gradual surface and natural looking object. And when we are done, just press OK and to make a selection, and here everything has been naturalized. And then we need to have some background. You can use this object as a PNG with a transparent background used in various projects for compositions or different things. Um, so let's just place a solid here. You can place a solid, a different color. Here's this black color. You can change the color, and we can use the eyedropper tool to sample a color right from the skin of our subject, or you can choose a dark or the white background to have an isolated look and feel. People generally use the isolated background rather than using the transparent ones for subjects like stock photography, but you can use the transparent layer as well for different compositions and just take a selection. So if you are making a campaign with some stray dogs or something like that, we can use this, cut out the selection for various compositions. So refine edge tool is very required mandatory skill to master when you are upgrading your skills, and using a selection is one thing, but refining your selection will take your photography skills to the next level. So just practice this thing perfectly well with different subjects. Take complex subjects with a lot of hairs and different selections. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about a magical tool in Photoshop that can bring a lot of information and allow you to reimagine the photo in a new way. So here just make sure that you are in the photography dashboard, or you can choose to go with essentials. And here just below the eyedropper tool you got this spot healing brush, and this spot healing tool It's a magical. It comes with a lot of options. Here you can change the size of this brush. You can make a bigger selection. You can make it fine-tuned, and you can select the hardness, the impact here, and the spacing. So here, just try this thing. So when its hardness is set to 0, it will barely infect anything. Make it 100% or something large, and here's the magic. We have cleared the spot of the ribbons with the um, surrounding beach or the sand areas. So a spot healing tool is a magical tool in two ways. So in one way, you can bring some lost information in vintage photos and a different kind of things. And in the other way, spot healing also helps you reimagine the image by removing unwanted components from the image very easily. So what does spot healing do? It just takes the average of the surrounding pixels and refills the selected area with the side by areas. It do this thing by taking the average of nearby objects. So here, sometimes the result may not be monotonous and it can change over time. So here, when you hover around some dense pixels with different colors, you can see different results over multiple times. So just hover around. So here we got a domesticated horse, and I'm trying to just remove all the ribbons and the bands on the belts from this horse and try to keep it free. So we want to liberate this wild animal into the wild area so he can roam around in the wilderness as he wants. So we have to remove the ribbons, and our current selection is quite large in size, so just make it a little bit smaller. And here we are removing the hands of the owner human to set this wild animal free. Spot healing also allows you to mask or remove some people from your photos. Like if you're traveling to a tourist place and it has a dense crowd there, and sometimes there could be a few people in the background just making your photo complete nonsense. And if you want to share it in the public domain, you want some strangers to be removed. Only you and your the background must be visible. So spot healing will help you definitely in a lot of scenarios. And here we are trying to do the same things. So this was a difficult subject to apply spot healing because this horse contains a lot of hairs. It has different textures. Also, it contains a variety of colors. Like our belt is in dark black color, and some section of the horse's skin and the face is generally in the dark brown. So it is difficult to distinguish between the black and the brown color here. When it's the subject is in the sand area or in the white skin, it is easy to remove, but you can do with over time. So just hold down the Control Z shortcut key on the keyboard to undo any failed attempt here. You have to try this thing in the multiple ways because as you can see here, when you apply spot healing on a particular section of the image, it will generate different results over time. Say you may differ with a little bit angle, and if you are using a drawing tablet, it would be a very good thing to do, but you can always do with a mouse. Currently I'm using a mouse here to demonstrate this thing. And here we have some in the image. We can have some difficult segment to choose color. So here we have 3 or 4 overlapping colors: the black belt, the pink mouth of this horse, a white, and the brown skin tones, and the sandy desert. So spot healing brush gets confused. So what is the way out here? So simply you can zoom in and make your selection area small. This is a large image with a lot of details, generally shot with a DSLR camera, or you can use a mobile camera these days also have a lot of information. So it's better to zoom in and sample the pixels the way they are. So here, when you zoom in, the things become very easy and smooth. So you can easily remove some sections. Although some sections could be difficult, and you can try using different orientation of this spot healing. Say if you are applying a horizontal uh, marking of this spot healing, so you can try using a different angle, try to make a C out of here. And you need to practice as much as possible with this spot healing tool, and over time your editing gets better. So try to reimagine the photos the way you want and remove unwanted sections. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about a spot healing brush in Photoshop with an example. So here we got a difficult image to apply spot healing brush because it has a lot of different colors and a detailed barbed wire in front of a scenery. So here we have a natural scene with a lake, a mountains and the sky, and we want to remove this barbed wire to have a clear view. It is easy to remove the segment that has been in the sky, that is overlapping the sky, because we got a clean background, and we can just make the selection with the spot healing with the adequate size, and we can just hover around to remove the selection, remove this barbed wire. But when it comes to the mountain and other complex image that has some details, it would be rather difficult to average the pixels next to it. So here we are just first trying to remove the sky segment of this barbed wire. Sometimes you want to remove different things. A lot of tourist places these days have a lot of boundaries, restrictions, different kind of signboards and borders and fences that don't allow you to take a good shots of the scenery. So what to do? If you know Photoshop well, you can remove some of those components and sometimes all of those components using a lot of tools. So spot healing brush is one of the things that you can use. You can use a patch tool and other tools as well. So here you need to be patient. You need to select everything one by one. Don't try to be very quick here because a spot healing brush uh, takes the average of the pixels next to it. So you have to give it time. So if you take a brush with a very large size to make a complex selection, it won't do its work very well. So with the Photoshop, we are not just creators. We want to be fine-tuned in our work. We want our work to be precise uh, and a high quality. So we do this thing very seriously. Moreover, if you want to remove some big segments from the image, it's better to increase the size of the brush itself. Just increase the size of the spot healing brush and make it a little bit more bigger to remove it clearly. So here got this work done very easily. But here you can see that a bigger size won't be handy in some scenarios that has a detailed complexion. So just reduce it to fit the requirement. If you got a very fine uh, removal subject, you can zoom in to the photo and choose the adequate size of the brush to remove individual segments. You need to be patient and remove individual components very easily. You can play something in the background like a music and just do this thing to keep it interesting. So here just make it a little bit faster and select those segments. One tip here, you can create some lines or the curves. Don't just click once. You need to click and drag. It's better to drag inverse toward the subject that you want to remove because it will take the sample from the different angle or the nearby pixels. You can make C, you can make L, you can make I or different shapes or anonymous shapes. You can make curves or anything. Just try to move your spot healing brush as if you are painting over a particular segment. If you have a mouse or if you have a drawing tablet, you can use either of them. Here flow doesn't matter very much and you can easily remove. So here we got this mountain segments, and we need to be a little bit careful because sometimes we can alter the images as well, because it may create some new peaks or new ridges that the mountains are generally not having in this scenario. So you need to be a little bit careful. Or it can also spill some images, like if you select the pond and the mountain as well, it will spill some soils or the vegetation in the lake, and it doesn't look very good. So you need to make a little bit clear selection, and here it looks like muddy and we need to clear it. So even if it makes your image not too good, you can just increase the size, change the size of the brush and try to make it clear, and just apply the brush multiple times over the same segment that you want to remove. Otherwise just press the undo multiple times the way you want. Okay, so we can try to remove different segments, but let's leave a few segments of this barbed wire. We don't want to completely remove this thing out of the screen, even although if we can try, but just try to keep it for the learning purpose. You can apply the same mechanism here and remove everything in the photo, and try to keep the photo natural. Sometimes you cannot remove everything that is not desired in the photo. It's better to take multiple shots of the photo. This photo was not intended to remove this in post processing. Otherwise we could have a different shooting angle for the camera itself, or we can put the camera between the barbed wire to get the clear view. However, this photo could have been shot uh, with the barbed wire in the focus, but here we want to remove it for the learning purpose. So when you're trying to learn any tool in the Photoshop, say spot healing or patch tool, first try to learn with a simple image that you can do the things very easily, and then try to take a difficult subject to do, as this photo was a little bit difficult, but we try to remove almost a lot of thing here, and we cleared a lot of things here. So you can see we got a clear view. We have removed some parts of the boundary, and this was the earlier photo, and the final photo looks a little bit cool. Try to do this thing on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about patch tool in Photoshop. So you can find patch tool just below the spot healing brush, and it's allow you to mend around some segments of the photo. So here just make a selection of the thing that you want to remove. So here we have selected this car on the street, and we have to just left click and hover around. You can drag towards the upper side, the lower, left or right, anywhere out of the patch, and it will be replaced with the image underlying next to that. So here as you can see here, we earlier we got a car on the road, and we have removed it successfully. So we have created a patch or a sampled area and put it over the component that we want to remove or hide. So it is just similar to as the tailors do to mend the torn out segments of the clothes. We use not for the torn out, but we want to hide some things here in the photo. So here we got this busy street over hill station, but we want to remove some uh, signboards, advertisements, and these cars from the scene, and we want to make the road almost clear. So here just repeat the same steps using the patch tool, and you can use a combination of different selection and removal tool as well, but the point here is with the patch tool. So as you can see here, we are trying to make a selection using the patch tool for this car that is close to the tree, and when we try to create a patch, it won't be a gradual patch, it will have a blur effect, simply because we got a tree too much closer than that. So it takes the sample. So let's try on a different car. So here we have smoothly removed this car, and there's a little bit section of the blur segment, and we can clear it using the spot healing brush. So you can also remove other segments, like here we got another signboard, and just make a clear selection. If you find any difficulty in selection, just zoom in to the photo for a fine-tuned selection. Otherwise, you can remove things the way. So here we got left with two more cars that we want to remove. So just repeat the same step. Just make a pass tool selection and just hover around, select some area. Try to create a sharp boundary here, but still there's a blurry effect. So you can clear it out using the spot healing brush. You need to zoom in more to get a fine corrected. So here we can see the error because some parts of the tree is overlapping with this car, and thus we got this green blur effect. We also need to select the shadowed area to make a clear selection, and here just try to do the same thing. Again we got this blurred area, but we can remove. Just go to spot healing brush and just change the size for the brush to make it fit, and hover around on the blurred area. Just reduce a little bit to have a fine adjustment. Selected area, just hover around to get a clear view of the photo, and here we got the road is cleaned up and the blur has been removed. So in the similar way, if you want to remove something with a clean and with a finished approach, you may use a combination of tools such as patch and a spot healing brush, and either of any selection tool, a magic wand or lasso tool as well. So here we got this thing. So it looks better than the earlier versions, and now we got this one more car, and here it is challenging because half segment of the car is covered on the road and half segment is on the mountain. So we cannot just simply remove everything. So here you can see that spot healing brush works very well in removing the blurred area in this part. So in the similar way, you can also use use the patch tool in two parts, or you can use the spot healing brush as well. So if you are making a selection over a large area, it's better to increase the size of this spot healing brush, and sometimes it could generate some weird results, but don't worry. Just you need to reapply the spot healing brush over and over again to make a clear adjustment. And once if you're not satisfied, you can always undo the changes. Control plus Z would be better if you want to move one step backwards. And here over time, when you apply, it gets the image of the ground. So here it is, we have almost clearly removed, and here it is, you got this these cars are clearly removed. So here we got this image where there is no car or the signboards. We have removed two signboards and four cars actually from the scene, and you can see the earlier image that was crowded. So once we zoom out and look towards the road, it looks very clear. So in the similar way, if you have a photograph of some tourist place and you want to remove some persons or some things, some unwanted things from the image, you can use a combination of patch tool and a spot healing brush to remove different things. So this is how you use the patch tool and a spot healing brush in Photoshop. So try to create your own photo edits, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friends. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about making a selection using the magic wand tool. So magic wand is an amazing tool to make a selection very quickly and very easily. So we are currently using the essential dashboard, and you can find a magic wand right below the lasso tool and above the crop and the eyedropper tools. So here you got two options, the quick selection and the magic wand. We have to select the magic wand and just click on the component that you want to remove. Sometimes it could be not that clear if you have a lot of objects in the selection. But if you want to make a selection, you can just click around, and if you want to expand with more objects, you just need to hold down the shift key on the keyboard and hover around to make more selections. So here, when we click just once on the sky, we got a few clouds selected, but holding the shift key and clicking on more segments will add more area very clearly to your photo. You can also repeal some segments by just simply undoing the changes that you have done and make the selection. So here we have just almost selected the entire cloud, and we want to remove this cloud and a few mountains in the background. So just you can just press the delete option on the keyboard, or you can mask it out, depends on your requirement. So here I want to just replace this sky for the sky replacement, and I will press the delete option, and here we got this clear selection, and we got just mountains. You can use this layer for creating any vectors or different graphics or any composition in Photoshop. So here if you want to add this mountains to any other compositions, you can use. And here we want to add a different mountains with mobile towers installed, and we'll be replaced putting it in the background. So here just select this image and just select and drag on the our first image, and by default it has been created as a new layer and it is placed just on the background. So here uh, if we don't consider the lighting issues, the photos are almost identical, and we can simply replace any object with the magic wand. So here we have this empty mountain road, and we got the sky replaced completely, and we can add the photo. You can crop, or you can scale the background photo. You can move around the vertical and the horizontal axis. You can scale, you can increase the size or reduce the size. You can change the orientation and a different thing. So it's better to just select a photo for the replacement that has a similar lighting and different conditions. So here both of our skies are clear skies, clear blue sky with the white clouds, and they look identical and it's natural. So the people looking at this image not too closer will not be able to distinguish whether it's photoshopped or there's a sky replacement or not. So a sky replacement come in handy when you can use a magic wand. So magic wand can be used in a lot of scenarios. Try to use it in your own photos. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about clone stamp tool in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got two different shots of the same photo, same subject who's playing a game of cricket. So let's merge them together. Here we got a window, orange, and two split view. So here we can look at both of these images together in the vertical way. So here on the left hand side we got an image, and we want to apply clone stamp. So just select a clone stamp and take a sample of the subject that we want to insert. So we are going to insert this ball, cricket ball, from the right image to the left side. So on the right hand side you can see the person actually played the ball. Okay, and here we can place the ball anywhere, but to make it more exact, it's better to just place it somewhere right in the place it was there in the second photo. So this way we can have two shots of a person missing a ball and person actually taking a ball. Okay, so first shot could be a wide ball or a no ball, and the second ball is a hit. It could be 4, 6, anything in one run. So this way we can alter the concept of a photo, and here it looks completely realistic. Okay, so this is how you use the sample tool. You can use the clone stamp, take the sample to the point where you want to add. Here you require two images, although you can do in the same image as well. So on the right hand side we also want to remove this subject, the person standing in the back. to make the photo more attractive. We have sampled the ground on the right hand side and just take the exact position. You have to just click once to the sample area to select the sample, and here you click, just take a brush and just start painting over it. You can paint or you can just even click to make it precise. I'm just matching this line. Okay, you can take anything for reference that will have a gradual effect. Okay, you can add the lost information and fill it in the photos. So this is how you do this clone tool. When you have multiple versions of the same photo, say this is a cricket shot, and we may shot the same person with different angles. Sometimes he may have missed a ball, sometimes he have missed the wide ball, the no ball, the six hit run, anything. And we can create all the things. So here just imagine we are creating a photo tutorial of a cricket match, how different positions that you can do, what should be prescribed, uh, how you can take a ball, how you can miss a ball. This could be used for any academy, anything. And here we can just edit to show it perfectly well. So clone stamp tool comes in handy where you got multiple images of the same subject. You can use any other selection tool like quick selection, magic wand, or anything else. But here in this particular scenario, when you have multiple photos, it's better to use a clone step, because a clone stamp would have a smooth effect. It won't have any distraction. The sample area is large. You can also change the size of the brush, and sometimes if your subject is too complex, it's advisable to just zoom into the subject and match. So here we have created these two images, and you can use the selection tool, draw a rectangle to crop the photo to get the subject that you want. So here we got this thing, and we can go to the edit or the image to crop an image. Okay, you can also transform this subject. You can scale it up, you can rotate, you can flip, you can design a poster, you can create a composition, anything you want. Okay, you can create a new layer out of this subject, and you can export it to the way you want. So okay, you can turn the visibility mode on and off to make view the main image, and this is how we done. So this is clone stamp was very easy. Try to apply this thing on any photo. Take multiple shots of the same subject, be it a player or versions of different transportation bikes and so on. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating a new brush in Photoshop. So you can create a custom brush in Photoshop, although there are a lot of brush that are predefined in Photoshop. So now just click over the background layer. We have an image of a fire, and we will just hide this dark color in the background. So we just need to do blend if, and in the blend if, because this option of a solid color, there are different colors. You can select green, gray, or other color. So just slide this darker section slider towards the brighter segment. So slide from this layer towards the center. So this way we will remove the background color, the dark colors of this photo, and with the flame we got clear dark background, and we only want the flames to appear. Okay, so we will be using the flames of this photo as a brush, as a new brush. It could be used in a variety of things. So you can use this blend if. So you just need to double click this layer option, and you got this option. And you can adjust this slider. Sometimes there could be different photos where you want to keep the dark sections and remove the bright sections. So that way you have to slide the brighter section. So here it is. We have extracted this photo, and now just add a solid color, a new layer, make it black, and keep it in the background. Here we have created this brush, and you can clearly see what segments are covered. Once you are sure, you can continue, or you can just double click again and change the value of the blend if value. You can use the dark slider one more time, and once you are confirmed, just hit OK. So here it is. We have added this dark background just to clearly look how the brush will appear. Okay, so once you are satisfied, you can move on. Otherwise, just change the value of the slider from the dark to the brighter section, or reverse if you want. So here we have just turned off this dark mode, and next we just need to select our brush. Don't forget to remove the background layer because we just want few components to be part of the image. Alternatively, you can use a different selection tool like lasso tool, the brush tool, quick selection, and anything else that you want. So here I'm using the polygonal lasso, and once it is selected, just go to edit, define brush preset. So just go to edit, define brush preset. So once you click this option, you have to provide a name of your new brush, and here I'm just providing fire brush 101. So we can find our brush with this name, and here you can see their number is also generated 3071, and we can refer to this number for this custom brush that we have created. So hit OK once you are done, and here by default your brush is selected, this newly created fire brush, and here you can just paint it over the photo or any solid layer or anything, and you can create a new Photoshop file, PST file, and here is the white color. You can create a new solid with any color. So let's make it black, and here use the same paint brush tool, and by default our brush is selected, and we can paint over this photo. Because our photo was in high definition and by default the brush size is very high, we can reduce the size of the brush, otherwise it is getting out of the canvas. Okay, you can go to the painting mode to get control of all the brush options, and you can slide down. Our custom brush is always in the could be found in the lower direction of this brush preset. Okay, so it has been created. You can use another kind of brush also, you can change around as you can do with the general brush. And here it is. It's better to reduce the size of this brush, and here it is. You can also change the color of this flame. It's not required to be an orange color, it could be red, blue, green, anything, and you can paint around anywhere. It is very important when you want to create textures in a lot of photos. Try creating your own custom brush. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. In the previous lesson, we have created a custom brush in Photoshop using a photo. So we had a photo of a fire flame, and we have created a brush. And this is the brush, and we can change the size of this brush, make it big, small, and anything. You can use it as for printing blocks. You have to just click once, or you can go to the painting tab and change color. We can select a blue flame, we can select a magenta flame, we can change the color to almost anything, and it will retain the shades of the original brush. Okay, you can move to different panel here, photography panel, and let's create a solid and paint over the subject. So using this brush, we'll be creating a greeting card background template from this flame. So here it is, and we can use it for a lot of purpose. We can create textures, you can turn the opacity on and off. When you combine with the blending mode with the different photos, it will create amazing results. So there are different blending modes, from dissolve, darken to lighten colors to overlays and different colors. You can try. You can change the appearance of your brush. You can increase, make it grayscale. You can do anything you want here. Next, we can create a solid with different color. Let's choose a darker shade of red. This will be used for a greeting card. Let's change the size of the brush, keep it a little bit smaller, and you can paint around in this canvas. You can also go to the brush properties and change different values. So let's change the color of this brush and try different colors. When you are satisfied, you can start painting over the canvas. So when we click once and hold for a moment, it will create blocks. Or when we hold a left mouse click and drag over the surface, it will start painting. So you can use a drawing tablet, a computer mouse, anything for printing here. Okay, if you're drawing some illustration, it's better to use a drawing tablet. Otherwise, you can use a mouse. You can try combination of different colors to create this thing. Here we are creating this background that can be used for a variety of purposes, can be used for graphics and design, can be used for printing cards, greeting card, an invitation, anything. And let's try to do this. So here we'll be printing blocks, increasing the value. So here our brush won't paint outside the canvas. It will only print inside the canvas. This way we got this option. So here we are just creating this flame kind of effect in the corners and the edges of this card. And that card can be used to provide any text information in the center. So thus we are keeping the center information free. Okay. So this will create an advanced texture. So you can't create this kind of texture by any predefined brush. So we have created a flame, and you can rotate the canvas and paint it in a different way because the brush will be oriented in the natural order while your canvas is tilted. So this way you can have curved effect. So be innovative and be creative here. You can increase the size of the brush to have a different effect and create amazing animation. So this is how you can use a brush in a creative way to design something. You can change the color of the brush. You can use a combination of brush. You can use a combination of photos and just apply. Be open to be creative, try new ideas, and try to create a variety of work in Photoshop. So when you learn different brush, different tools, different selection tools, it's better to combine them and experiment with this thing. So this is how we created this beautiful greeting card with the dark red background and the flames of orange and the yellow color appearing on the edges of this thing. It feels like when you place any text here in the center, it will feel like this is burning. It will have a story to your image. It will narrate a feeling. It will add the feeling of burning sensation here. So you can use it in a variety of purpose. Try to create your own thing. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about history brush tool in Photoshop. So here we got an image of a cute little baby and we just want to add some effect to make this photo look appealing, more appealing. So here we are just using the simple brush tool to paint some color over this baby. We are painting this dark black color uh, in order to have an emphasis over the baby. Okay, so this could be used in a magazine, a photo cover, or any digital place. Next we will be using the history brush tool, and it could be found right below the stamp tool. And here you can go to window and history to open this history panel to check what the actions you perform in the order of they have done. And next we just need to paint over the image the black cover, and it will reveal the previous action. Okay, so history brush will reveal the previous action that you perform. In this case the photo is revealed, photo of an infant. You just need to paint black color in order to make it appear, and after that we will paint some sections back with the general paint brush, and here we are covering with a dark color. So it will look like the portrait of baby is appearing from the dark. And you can also use a combination of different colors. We are using the white and the black color combination, and we'll fill the poster of this baby in between. And just place the history brush again, and it will reveal the baby again, the photo. You have to paint with black color if you have covered using the black color. If you have covered using white color, you have to paint with the white color. So history brush is very amazing. So now we have just created this baby. It looks like it's a poster. It could be used for magazines, wedding albums, or just birthday cards. It could be printed for a birthday card. If you're creating a greeting cards, New Year cards, Christmas cards, and different kinds of subjects, this kind of format can be used for sending an invitation or other things. You can refer back to the history panel to check the order of actions that you perform. And once you are unsatisfied with your work, just don't hesitate to press undo, or you can go to the history option. You can delete a particular action and revert back to the stage that you want to revert. So here just cover some more segment of this photo with color and start revealing more areas with the history brush tool. So here it is. We will try. So this is another version. Try to create multiple versions of your action in order to decide what you really want. Sometimes you can go with you have to take opinion of your family, friends, or colleagues. So in that case, you will be ready with different options. So now next we can apply a gradient just over this image. The by default color is black and white. Just select it, or you can create a new layer by just creating a new layer on the right hand side and then apply the gradient to this new layer. So once the gradient is applied, we will be using the blending mode. You can try different blending mode, but I will go with the saturation or color blending mode, just between the hue or saturation, and it will convert our photo to black and white. Okay, so this is the black and white color, and what we want to do is we will have the plain black background for some segment of the photo. The baby is generally covered in grayscale, the black and white tones, and then we will paint with history brush over the baby. So first we need to combine those two layers by holding the shortcut Ctrl plus E to merge two layers. And next we will be painting with the history brush over the face of this child gradually and softly. You can also change the size of the brush and zoom into the subject if you want. And here we can reveal the color of this photo. So now this photo looks amazing. It looks like this portrait has of the kid can be used for different subjects. It can be used for showing happiness, sadness, dedication, love, affection, anything. Photo editing is a skill that you allows you, empowers you to express different emotions, different stories with your photos. Now we are just painting over the hands and the face of this kid to reveal the skin color, and next we can add some more color of the clothes that we want to add. So a combination of red, white and black works very well on a lot of social media platforms. So this way you can create a greeting card or a different custom image. So this is how you use the history brush. You can use a combination of blending modes, different skill set that you applied in the Photoshop, and try to combine different skills together to create an awesome photo. You will be learning more in the coming lessons. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson, you're going to learn about creating a travel postcard in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got a photo of a beautiful snow mountains and an agricultural field and a clear sky. And we want to create a postcard here. So there are various ways to create a postcard, but we'll be using a simple effect. We'll be painting over this photo as it is painted. So here just create a new solid layer and create a mask. Don't forget to create a mask, because when you create a mask it will allow you to paint over this thing. Okay, so here just select the paint brush and the brush you want to select and make the color to black, because when you paint over a mask with a black color the background layer would start appearing. Okay, so here we have to paint over a certain section. You can paint over as if this is painted, this is revealed. So this kind of effect is quite popular among travel bloggers and travel influencers. A lot of Instagrammers also use this kind of effect. And now you know how to do this thing. So now it's point to make it perfect. You can change the color of the brush from black to white. So when you paint white over something, it will work as an eraser. Okay. Moreover, you can use different blending modes uh, that can enhance your photo. You can turn the opacity in a different way. So I won't be adding any blending mode. Let's keep it in normal mode. You can change the size of this brush and paint over the screen to the particular section that you want. So here we just want some segments of this sky, some plants, and this mountain, snow mountains. So you can paint in a different way. You can add text as well, just type a text, or you can add text by the brush itself. So here just light travel, we can write anything. So here this is not sufficient space to write travel. So we can create a logo here, we can create a mountain. You can add anything, just anything. It will start painting. You can draw something in shapes. You can draw outlines of the shapes and add the background as well. You can do anything with this technique. Okay, you can use different paintbrush because different paintbrush will have a different influence over things. I've created a custom brush, the fire brush, and we are using this to reveal. But you can use a different brush here. Each brush will have a different texture like oil paint, the watercolor, and different thing. You could have a strong, you can increase the value of flow, anything. So just write any text. Here I'm writing snow, and it will reflect the color of the background. So here we have written in sky, so this thing is revealed. And now we want to write the same thing over this image as well. So it will reveal the white color. So here we have changed it to white, so as it is working like an eraser because this photo is being revealed in the white color. So just practice this technique. You can use a variety of photos. You can use the road trip photos. You can use oceans, sea, mountains, cityscapes. You can reveal the cities that you're going. So just try to apply this effect. Just take a photo, create a mask with different color. Here I'm using the white color. You can take mask of any color and just start painting over it and try to reveal your background subjects. You can also combine different photos as well. Just place them on the screen, on the artboard. Place one thing on the right hand side, something on the left hand side, and when you start painting, it will reveal both of them as if they are used as a photo collage, but it is an artistic photo collage. So just make time to practice this skill set. The more you practice, the more you learn. So just take different photos from the cities, mountains, and the sea and practice a lot. You'll be learning more in the coming lessons. Till then, keep learning, keep moving ahead. Hello, welcome to this lesson where you are going to learn about creating a glowing text effect in Photoshop, or you can call it neon light effect. So here, first we need to just create a text, write something on the screen that we want to glow. So here just write positive vibes only. Just keep it positive and we can place this thing in front of anywhere. So here this is. So you can change the font size, font color, font type, anything. You can decide it. So just go with your selected option. I'm making it quite large with different variety. I prefer central spacing here because we have just few text here. You can put any text in the capital or the small. So next we just need to, we will be creating a Gaussian blur to have this blurred effect. There could be different ways to create neon effect, but we would be going with this Gaussian blur effect. So you have created this text, and next we'll be creating 5 different layers for this blur. Reposition this text on the screen, and here we got this background color and this text. Okay, just create a new group here by hitting the folder icon and just put this text layer inside that group. So you can convert it to the smart object, right click, convert to a smart object. Next we need to go to filter menu and in the filter go to blur and a Gaussian blur. So this will create a Gaussian blur and set the default radius to 0.7. You can take any decimal value here. You can provide any value here, but we'll be creating 5 Gaussian blurs. So just copy this layer and paste it. Control C and Control V are the shortcuts you can use. So I have taken this 5 times. If you want more accurate, use 9, 7, 11, anything you want, and just gradually increase the radius. So the bottommost layer have the minimal radius, and that is increasing over the time. So let's provide these values. I'm providing the values 0.7, 7, 27, 77 and 250. You can provide any values, so don't be crazy about. We just don't need few layers. The more Gaussian layers with different radius you have, the more smooth this effect will look like. So don't worry if it looks blurry right now. We will change everything to make it decent. So we have to change the blending mode here and set everything in the group. Okay, so you can create a new solid with a different color. We'll be using the background color black because we are using a light. So light is more displayed in a better way when it is kept in front of something dark. So here you can change each blending mode. Just select each Gaussian mode and set to screen. So screen blending mode is used to lighten something. It will enhance the lights from your these layers. Okay, next we will apply gradient map. So first apply the screen on each blending mode. You could use a different blending mode. Learn about blending mode by practicing this in different photos, and we will learning more in the coming lessons. Till then, keep learning, keep moving ahead. Welcome back, friend. In the previous lesson we have created a neon glow text effect in Photoshop, and now it's time to move forward and add something to it. So just add a gradient map here and go to the adjustment option, and you got to create an adjustment layer for the gradient map. We have added the Gaussian blur, the blending mode, and different things. Here we just need to add this gradient map. So take the color of your choice. You can use various predefined gradients. You can use orange, yellow color, the dark green, or different colors. You can choose the rainbow colors. This vibrant green color also looks good. You can use the pink color, or you can choose a custom color and you can create your own color as well. So here this is a gradient map that has multiple color values, and currently the green and the blue are displayed. So let's take this gradient map with a black and white color. Here you got different options for hue, saturation and fill. Just click here to choose a color. Let's try with the red color. So you can do two things. You can change the color one by one and decide which one looks good. So you can go with that particular neon effect. Otherwise, you can create different adjustment layer, each for different gradient maps, and turn the visibility mode on and off. And this way you can share with your peers, friends, colleagues, and discuss which color looks good. So here let's try with the dark red color. You can take the yellow, the pink, or a different color. Okay, so just try with the pink color. It looks good. Now this is the orange color. You can use this neon glow effect the way that you followed here, the Gaussian blur to the gradient map, the blending mode, everything. And you can change the background as well. Okay, you can also increase the intensity of a particular color by changing the slider. You can increase the proportion of orange color, red color. You can also place some color in between. Just hit in between and place a color. Use the fill. Using this color palette option, you can provide any color. You can also sample a color from image using the eyedropper tool. So just adjust this slider to have a feel. Here we got different shades of color from red to yellow with the orange color in between. So this is a vibrant neon effect. So you can see here the Gaussian blur works very well. So if you have this, say maximum radius was 250, when you increase it from 250 to say 1000, it will have more gassy look, like it is fog. The light is refracted on the foggy climate. So you can add this thing more. You could have different radius, a combination of radius in the gradient map. You can turn the visibility mode on and off for the background, adjustment layer, and the groups as well. And you can change the color anytime you want. You can take the saturation, the hue, or different points to decide the color. You can also change the color of your background as well your light, and just experiment with this. So try to create your own glowing text effect or neon light effect in Photoshop. Enjoy learning, and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about changing the values of exposure, contrast, brightness, and the gamma correction in Photoshop. So let's learn it. So here we got this photo of a wild tiger, but this photo is shot in a lot of shadows and darkness, so there are less light. So we just need to create an adjustment layer for exposure first, and just increase the value of exposure by moving the slider control here. You can also do some gamma correction and change the value of brightness and contrast as well. Next you need to create one more layer for brightness and contrast, and increase the value of brightness and decrease the value of contrast to make your photo look distinguishable and vibrant. So here you can note here the entire image has been enhanced with the change of exposure, the contrast, and the brightness levels. But sometimes there could be a scenario that we want to increase the contrast and exposure only for a certain segment of the photo. So how you can do that, you will learn now. There could be different techniques. You can use a various selection tool to make a selection of a segment in your photo, and you can partially increase the value of exposure or add any adjustment layer, be it dark, a gradient map, anything. Okay, so we will be using the lasso tool, and here the magnetic lasso. Magnetic lasso will select our subject sometimes automatically and almost perfectly well. So here we just need to select this subject. Here we got this tiger that is in dark color. So what we will do here, we will just select this tiger and apply the adjustment layers for exposure and contrast just to this tiger, but we will keep the background in the dark. Okay, so we want to highlight just this tiger. So you can do with different kind of photos or anything like that. You can apply. You can also apply the value change of the darkness or adjustment layers in gradual form. Say for the tiger, this is the main subject, it is in center. We can increase its contrast or exposure to a certain level, and we can add some buffer layers in between. The buffer layer is nothing, just you got 2 or 3 layers of the same image, and you can gradually change it will look like a light is coming out of this tiger and aura would feel like, but it will look dramatic. To keep it real, just select this thing, make the selection object. Once you are done with the selection and the moving ant is there, just add an adjustment layer, and here you got this mask. So now if you increase the value, change the value of anything, say increase or decrease, it will only affect this selection. So here we have selected this tiger, it will uniformly affect this. But there could be scenarios as well where you want to change certain areas even of the tiger. Say if you want to highlight his tiger's eyes and keep the mouth in the same level, same brightness level that was earlier, so you can also do so. So here you learned about creating adjustment layer for exposure, brightness, and contrast. Also you learned how to make a selection and apply selective exposure and selective contrast. So just make a selection, apply all the value of properties, any adjustment layer to the area that you want. So if you are not satisfied with the selection and the change of values, you can reapply and try to make a selection once more time. Or my tip is here that don't go for extreme values for exposure, contrast, or brightness. Keep it in the mid range. Try on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating hue saturation adjustment layer in Photoshop. So there are different ways to create an adjustment layer. You can right click from the layer panel, or you can go to the adjustment panel and select an option. So here we are going to select a hue option, and we want to change the color of this photo. So by default it is set to custom, and when we change the value of hue, all the colors in the photo will be affected. So here we can change the colors to red, blue, green, and different spectrum of colors, so it will affect everything. So here you are learning to apply the hue in different ways, so it's better to create a replica or duplicate layer of the same photo. So here we have applied one adjustment layer, and now we are going to clear another adjustment layer. So here this is next adjustment layer, and here we want to just affect the blue section of the photo. So you can change the value from custom to blue, and then you can slide the value of hue, so it will only affect the blue components on your photo. So here on the right hand side we got this blue colored wall, and we can change the value of blue. Okay, we can make it light blue, we can make it dark blue, we can make it green, red, anything, and it will only affect this particular wall. It won't affect this cream and a white ceiling. Okay, and when we change the value in the custom setting, it will affect all the colors. Remember, each photo has three basic data for about pixel: RGB, red, green, and blue values. So only blue values will be affected in this way. You can choose red, cyan, green, yellow, and different thing as well from a photo. So if you have a photo which have clear distinguished colors, you can choose the setting for blue, yellow, and changing the value of different hues, or go to the default. So here we have this painted wall. So just imagine we are running a painting company, and here we paint different walls. So we have shot this photo for two different colors, and now we want to create different shades. There are two ways rather to paint the walls again and again with different colors, and this would be a costly and time taking approach. Rather than, we can open a Photoshop, create different hue adjustment layers, and change the value of the wall colors in different shades. Okay, this way you can decide which color to go, so your clients or the customers and everyone would have option to choose a color combination. So here and they would have an idea how it will appear. So here we are changing the value of this cream component. Try to make it purple. Sometimes you can make it red or pink or yellow, and try to keep different shades. You can create different adjustment layers and save it for the reference purpose, and you can change. You can also sample a particular color. You can use this eyedropper tool in the adjustment layer as well, and sample a particular color and change its value. Okay, so it is advisable when you have to decide, when you have a certain photo and you have to edit in different ways using the color combination, so you can create a palette out of it. Okay, this is just a palette, the option of different colors, and you can decide which one to go. So you have to save it in the Photoshop file. Don't save it in JPEG or PNG, that because they are the images, and you want to have all the adjustment layer information intact. So for those who don't know about the difference between the Photoshop PSD file and the JPEG, it is simple. A JPEG file is just an image, it's a single layered image. Okay, all layers are combined into a single image. You cannot re-edit anything that is already edited. Okay, because all the edited information and the data about adjustment layers and different layers are lost. Simply all the mask, everything is lost. In order to keep it safe for the future edits, you have to save it in Photoshop file. So here we are creating different adjustment layer, and we can export each individual photos by changing adjustment layer, the visibility mode. Okay, you can keep the black and white color as well. Take any different photo of a room. This is a simple room. You can take anything. You can take a bungalow. You can shot anything. You can change the value of colors, the cars. You can decide, and you can change the colors using these hue adjustment layers. In the similar way, you can also create different adjustment layers like black and white and different other layers, gradient map, and you can combine those layers to create a master art piece. Okay, so once you are done setting all the adjustment layer, just simply turn the visibility mode on and off for having a look over what various color options or the color palette that you created for this wall. So try to create this on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about creating a selected color effect in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got an image with a few tropical fruits, guava kept in the background. Here we got a beautifully chopped guava in the center, and we can add the grayscale adjustment layer and change the value of individual colors. So once you increase the value say of the yellow color or decrease the value of yellow color, the component kept in yellow color will be in dark, otherwise it will be bright. So this is how you set the gray scale adjustment layer. But first we are going to create a mask here. So you can use any selection tool. I'm using the quick selection tool, and just hold the left mouse click and just drop over the selection. So next we want to change the color of the background of this photo other than the selected area to be black and white. So we have selected this component, and we need to just right click and invert selection. So this way, just right click, select invert. So this way we have selected everything else other than this cut banana, and when we hit the grayscale adjustment layer, it will convert everything into grayscale. Next we can change the value of individual colors, like intensity of the green and the yellow colors, because the fruits are outer layer of the fruits are generally in yellow and green color. We can make it more intense black or intense white depending on your choice. And we just have this pinkish cut, beautifully cut guava kept in the center with the pink color. So this black in the background, black and white in the background, and the red color, and you can have any color. Here we are using the red color, will keep more emphasis on the photo. It will add to narrate your story, your photo in a different way. So for Instagrammers and everybody who do this kind of photo edits, this is the effect that you can do very easily in Photoshop. Try to do this thing on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about creating a thermal camera in a photo. So let's start. So here we got a photo with a few monkeys sitting on the mountain cliff, and you can use any selection tool to select the area that you want to change the color. So here let's make a quick selection using this quick selection paintbrush, and here we got the selection of a few monkeys. You can create a mask here. You could change the background to grayscale or add any adjustment layer, but here we will be using the gradient map to allow the change in colors. So what is a thermal camera? Thermal camera or a heat map is an image that has different colors that show that uh, cool colors are represented in green and blue shades, and the warm colors are represented in red and yellow. So here you just need to go to adjustment layer, and last option is the gradient map. And here we got different options. You can set the blue and yellow duotone. You can set duotone for orange and different color. You can also choose your own custom color as well. Here you can create a black and white poster as well, and a different thing. So for creating a thermal camera, we would be going with a rainbow option. And as you can see here, the monkeys are colored in the red and the warm colors because they are mammals and the warm blooded animals. And The background is in the cool color, the blue and the purple, and the ground is in a mix of normal colors in the between. So here the thermal camera looks natural and realistic. Sometimes in different photos it won't be realistic because this is not a real thermal camera photo, but you can create using gradient map. So this was an easy approach to creating a heat map. Try creating your own thermal photos and practice with different stocks. So till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about channel mixer adjustment layer in Photoshop. So let's learn about this. So here we got an image of a forest road that has a lush green and dense forest in the monsoon season. So here we want to just create some adjustment layer. Just create an adjustment layer for the channel mixer, and you can change the value of the channel mixer just like this. So here you got the slider control, and you can change the value of any color. Here we got the green color. If you want to change the value of the green color, you can make it a little bit yellow so that it will feel like it is an autumn season. So you have to adjust a combination of these three colors. So it's better to reduce the intensity of red, change the value of green, turn it more vibrant, and make the blue, keep the blue in the midtones. So here we got this, all the color, green color has been changed to the vibrant yellow color, and the road, paved road, is now more black and look decent. So here in this technique we can simply change any photo that is shot in the monsoon season and the rainy season, the lush green climate, into an autumn season climate. Okay, in the similar way you can change it to the spring season as well. You can change the color not just into the green and yellow, you can also change the value into pink, red, blue, any color you want. And also you can change the components of individual segments of the photo. Say here we use the quick selection tool to select the grass and the shrubs in this photo and change it in a different color. The similar way you can select a different thing as well. So here we just move around with this quick selection tool to select some segment of the grass. You can use any other tool like lasso tool or other tool as well. So here we got this right hand side, the grass is being selected, and we'll create a new layer for hue and saturation, and we can change the value of hue and saturation. Okay, so let's try to change it. You can change the individual colors, not just custom color. You can change the value of yellows, greens, the blues, and the reds. Okay, so this grass was generally in the green color. However, it looks like yellow color due to the adjustment layer that we have used. So you can decide the color accordingly, and you can change the value of individual color. You can make it lavender blue, a pink, and red, the yellow. Change it to a different color, and here we got this. Uh, Try different colors until you are pretty sure that you have to go with that particular color. Otherwise, just keep on trying. You can also create multiple adjustments here for individual selections and individual masks, and just turn the visibility mode on and off to decide which one you should go. So here we got this little bit red grass on the right hand side. In the similar way, we can use the same selection tool, the quick selection tool here, to select the grass on the left hand side, and in this way we can change it to the same color, or you can have a different color. So sometimes in the autumn season you require some leaves to be turned yellow, the golden color, or some leaves could turn, like maple leaves could turn to red color. So this way you can make a selective adjustment, some trees or some plants to be in yellow, some to be in green, some could be converted to red or violet, anything like that. So you can not just change the value of entire scene, you can also select an individual mask. Okay, but there could be some difficulties if there are a lot of complexions, so you can zoom in to make a proper selection. So this was an earlier photo, the tropical, and then we apply some mask here, change the value of the adjustment layer, turn it the autumn color, and now we can have this red shrub using the selection tool. We have used two adjustment layers, generally speaking, one for the channel mixer to change the value of all the green color into the yellow for autumn season, and an adjustment layer for hue. Try doing this thing on your own photos. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back, friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating a duotone effect in Photoshop using gradient map adjustment layer. So here we got an image of a migratory bird, and we want to change all the colors of this image into just two colors. So just go to the adjustment layer, and the last option is the gradient map. So just click on this to add a gradient map adjustment layer. You can also add a gradient map by right clicking the layer panel and different ways. So here we got by default some options: the red, green, the purple, orange, different colors for duotone. Different photos work in different ways. Say if you require these images, you can also create a heat map and a different color map. But here we want to create a custom duotone effect, and it can be done very easily. Okay, there's no need for paintbrush or any complex business here. We are just using the gradient map. So here we got these two colors, the violet and the orange, and here we have to just double click the selection color option, and you can change the value of the color. Say okay, you can change it to the brown. You got these three options. You got to change it to white, and once you double click, you got this entire color spectrum, and you can change the value into different things. So you can change the hue to red, pink, blue, green. The best thing is you should play with the colors. Okay, just be open to experiment with a different color, and based on your color desire, your mood, or your narration of this story that you want to convey with this photo, you can change the color. Say if you want to run a campaign to save migratory birds, you can change the color to green or something like that will appeal people. And if you want to add just add something to your just project work, you can change a different color. If you know the color theory well, you can choose a proper color combination. Because we are using a duotone, we can have two colors. So I would prefer using the green color tone here. So we will be experimenting with a light green and a combination of blue and the yellow. You can go with the overlapping colors. So the blue and the yellow are close to the green. You can experiment with the other colors as well. Although you can add multiple colors into the color spectrum. Um, Here we got this duotone. In the similar way, you can create tritone and more different number of tones. You can use 3 colors, 4 colors, multiple colors, any number of colors you want to have in a photo. It will affect the colors based on the darkness and the brightness. So here if you select two different colors, one dark and one bright, so the dark color would affect the shadows and the dark areas of the photo, and the white color will affect the white. So here we choose the two different colors, one yellow and one dark green. We can also change the value of the mid slider, so we can increase the value of greenness or yellowness in the same photo. So you can also adjust add more colors here. Okay, so just experiment. So here we are using a combination of green and yellow. So we will experiment with increasing the green component or the yellow component. So when you increase the value of green component, the photo doesn't look decent. So thus we will try increasing the value of yellow. I'll just keep it normal here. Okay. You can also individually drag the shadows, the highlights, and the dark and the bright spectrum as well. And once you are done, just hit OK, and the gradient map layer adjustment layer is applied. You can also apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. So if you want to have some advanced customized colors, you can do so. You can turn the opacity and different color options differently. Okay, so if you are just not sure about what color to choose, it's better to just duplicate the original photo, keep it one over another, and just try to apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. Say one with this orange and purple color, and one with the custom color that we have created, the green and yellow shade, and you can have different things. So if you want to take opinion of your friends or colleagues and anybody else, you can show them various options that you have created, and then you can decide which option to choose. So try to do this on your own. Play with the gradient map, create amazing duotones, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson, you are going to learn about blending modes in Photoshop. So just open the photos that you want to blend together, because blending is applied over multiple images, two or more images, or two or more layers that are blend together. So here we got the mountains and this is cloud. And we want to merge this, blend this cloud in the way that it looks like it is a fog. So first step is to turn the opacity to the value you want. Uh, don't worry, we are just experimenting it here. You will decide the final value later on. So here just choose the blending mode. You can get this option. This is drag top, and you can try the darken, the dissolve, normal, the lighten, soft colors, and different. But I would go with the hard mix, or you can use the linear light as well. So this is the hard mix. It looks like some fog, and let's increase the value of opacity a little bit. And you can also adjust this photo, the cloud, by moving it on the screen. So just select the layer that you want to move, and here you can readjust the blending mode the way you want. Don't go for the lower values because they just destroys the photos. Sometimes it is required in different photography techniques, but here we won't be using it. Just bring this cloud little bit to the ground, and here it looks like it is foggy climate. Let's keep the sky intact because the fog is not in the sky. And here we can get, this is a beautiful mountain range, the mountain village. We got a few crops here, and here we got the fog as well. So adding a fog will emphasize your photo like it is shot in a winter climate. Okay, so for different purpose you can use. So let's bring another photo. This is a barren land, and we can apply this photo to create a composition or something like that. So here just try with this. Here just go to the blending mode. By default it is set to normal, but we can use anything. So let's go with the darken blending mode, and it's look a little bit haunted. Okay, this kind of photo can be used to depict an narration. You can choose a color burn, you can use a darken color. So generally there are the darken categories for the blending mode, the lighten categories, the overlays, and the below are diffusion and just hue saturation color controls. Hue saturation can be controlled with the adjustment layer, but this is a blending mode. It's a different thing. So here just keep it to the ground, because generally the ground could be barren, not the sky. Okay, so if you want to narrate a story with this image, say if you want to show with the increase of agriculture or human influence, the climate change and different subject can be covered here. Okay, a lot of climatologists that use this kind of photographs use this as a case study to depict some message here, to convey a message that we need to plant more trees, save our environment, the glaciers are melting, and so on. You can use it for various purposes. You can also blend this image as well. You can turn the opacity into different values, experiment it with this. Here we got this image. You can also change the order of the image to influence the blending mode, but it completely depends on your choice. Okay, so always be open to experimentation, because no blending mode, no adjustment layer can help you achieve your desired goal on the first attempt. Okay, so you have to take multiple attempts, especially when you are a beginner or you are a learner. Everybody is a learner, nobody is expert. Okay, just believe in this fact. You will get expert with the practice that you do, and the blending mode requires a lot of practice. So you take a different subject here. The objective of this lesson was just to teach you how different blending modes work and how you can do so. Okay, so next we can try applying blending modes in a different way. Say here we can narrate a different story. Here we got this barren land and we can add this little bit growing grasses in between. So this is like it is a barren land because currently we have degraded or destroyed the environment, but there is a little hope of environment bouncing back. Okay, so the little hope is represented with the grass and agriculture that is growing in between the dents. So compositing is all about narrating a beautiful stories, and Photoshop editors are not just photographers, not just artists. You have to narrate a story with your photographs. You always know that a photo can speak 1,000 words, not just 1,000 words. It can convey an entire message. You can use this skill of storytelling with in the best way with the blending modes, and it's the key thing you should look after this. So just try different blending modes. Here we got these blending modes. You can just categorize. Remember this thing that blending modes are categorized in different things. Here by default it is set to normal. You can dissolve multiple photos, and don't just apply the blending modes, you can use opacity as well. Okay, so generally the first category is darken categories. You can use the darken categories, you can use the light categories. The screen color dodge. The screen is generally used for neon light and different effects. You're learning later on. And then we get the overlay, the hard light, soft light, the linear light, the hard mix. Okay, they are a little bit different, but they will produce different output. Okay, so generally you have to decide whether you want this fog. Say with the fog we use the linear light. Okay, so we use the overlay category with the almost 80 or 70% opacity. You can change the value of it later on, and you can rearrange the layers accordingly. So here we want the fog to appear on top of our scenery, so we will place the background scene, the mountains and the agriculture, the lower order of these layers, and on the top we want the fog. And we can partially apply the layer as well. You can use the paintbrush and anything else to specifically apply. We want this barren land to be degraded, fog not to reach the sky, just be constrained in the mountain range and the soil. So this was how you can use blending modes. Try on your own, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome to this lesson where you're going to learn about creating a 3D spherical panorama in Photoshop. So here we got a 2D image, and in order to create panorama, we have to go to the top menu option and go to the 3D and select spherical panorama and hit new panorama layer from selected layers. So here it has created a panorama for the selected layer, and you can use your mouse to scroll around to have a 360-degree view. So here you got to create a panorama. Here it looks like we are in the place. Okay, so you have a 2D image of a location, and you can create panorama to take different shots. Okay, it could be a composite image, the imaginary that you create, or it could be a realistic image. So here we got a photo of this market, night lamp market, and when we rotate it around, say when we look at towards the ground, towards the walls, towards the ceiling, we can take different shots, and you can export these shots to use in a wide variety of projects. Say if you got a 2D image of a room, inside a room it could be shot, and when you rotate you can focus on a particular perspective. And this panorama is useful because you can perform edits on all the direction as well. You can also increase the size of the artboard, change the artboard size to be more in the landscape, more in the portrait, or different size. And you can apply the panorama using different photos as well. So here let's first export this image by going to File, Export, choose your format, and hit Export All option to export this photo. So you can provide a name here and just save it. You can use different formats like transparent PNGs, JPEG, Photoshop file, or a different image file, bitmap, and other formats as well. So here we took a shot of this photo from one angle, and let's take a different angle. So here we take the shot from a ceiling and just export, repeat the same thing, just export a different photo. So we got a high resolution image of the market, and then we created a panorama, and now we are taking multiple shots of the ceiling, the wall, the floor, and different orientations, and we can export these things. So it will be useful in a wide variety of things, say for if you are running an animation studios, or for a movie scene recreation, if you want to recreate a scene. A lot of film industries do this thing. They take a picture of some old relics, like if you are interested in shooting something, and then they convert to panorama, take different shots, and try to create a set around using these shots. So Photoshop is not just for the photographers and designers, it's used for a wide variety of domains, and it can embed it. So here we have created a panorama of this mountain landscape, and we can use it in a different variety of things. And here we are just moving around this photo using the left mouse click. You can also use this pointer, the arrow, three-dimensional arrows, to navigate through X, Y, and Z coordinates. You can use three options that are there next to it to move around, and mouse is perfect thing to move around in a panorama. So this is how you create a panorama very easily and very quickly in Photoshop, and how you can use the panorama to different variety of work, like scene recreation in film industry. You can use to for interior designs. A lot of domains could be used. So try creating your own panorama using 2D images that you like. Give it a trial, keep learning, and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back, friend. Here in this lesson we're going to learn about very interesting concept in Photoshop that's called action. Action allows you to automate certain tasks or operations for editing a photo or creating an artwork. So here we have four different photos, and we can open the actions by just going to the window menu and just go move to actions. So once you have this action tab open, you can use any of the actions that comes pre-installed with the Photoshop, or you can create custom actions and you can perform actions. Okay. So what are actions really? So Photoshop action is a series of tasks or steps that you can playback or perform on a single or a batch of files. Okay. So here we got this photo. So actions are useful, say, in the scenario where you have, say, hundreds or thousands of photos with the same lighting condition, same colors, and different things. Say if you have traveled to a remote island, almost all the photos have the same composition, and you have to set some adjustment layer for saturation, exposure, hue, or something like that. And in order to perform the same steps again and again over multiple photos, it's better to automate it. So you have to perform the steps once, only once, on a single photo. We will record the action, and we'll go to all other photos and just press the play button. So this will reduce the time that we take. So here you can create an action by just moving to the create action option there. You have to provide a name for your action. Say here we write a gray action, because we will be converting this photo into black and white, the combination of gray with some change in the red and green components. You can add a shortcut key here that will trigger you. Say if you set F12, or you can also set shift or control. Say if you press the shift F12, the same action will be played. Okay, so in order to record, just hit the record option and perform any steps. So here we have unlocked this background layer. First operation. Second operation is we are creating a black and white. So here we got this black and white color. We can change the value of reds, yellows, greens, and blue. So let's increase the value of red, and next decrease the value of yellow and the green color. Here we also got the cyan, the blue, and the purple color, and we can change the values of these colors. You can perform any operation, say like that is general or uniform, somewhat uniform over photos. Say if you try to create a mask or crop any particular entity in a photo, other photos will have affected because you have to be in the similar way. Here, if I use the patch tool, it makes no sense if we have a different subject of photo. So here we are just adding a gradient here, and the gradient we can change the value of gradient, the opacity, and different other properties. You could add something more. Try adding different adjustment layer, creating a duotone, tritone, gradient map. Okay, just do anything you want. You can add a text here, perform anything. And once you are done, you have to just hit the stop icon to stop the action. So here all the steps are recorded, and next go to another photo and select your action and just hit the play button, or you can press the shortcut key. So what we have created a shortcut key, Control F12. So here we have applied this action. Okay, you can create any kind of action, and this will help you automate things. A lot of people know editing, but all the thing that distinguish between a professional or a beginner, something is called action here. There are more concepts in Photoshop that professionals use to save their time, automate a lot of things. So this is a 21st century is the age of automation, and you have to automate a lot of things here. And actions allow you to do this thing very easily and very quickly. Okay, so once you're not satisfied with an action, you can delete the layer that is created. You could undo the action. You can press Ctrl Z to undo the action, or just try a different action. So I would recommend you to just go to your photos uh, and create certain actions, perform certain operations, and keep it generalized. And in the future, if you require these actions, you can use a different action. For example, you could create an action for adjustment layer like gradient map. You can create a yellow and blue duotone. You can create an action for grayscale, not just a general grayscale, a specific value with a red color reduced, green color increased, or anything like that. Okay, just try creating a combination of things and keep your actions ready. And later on, once you apply these concepts in Photoshop, practice well, you can create some advanced actions that you can't imagine very easily. It's anything you can imagine, you can create with Photoshop. So be creative, keep learning, and keep moving ahead.